Hello, everyone, and welcome to CABE 2020, the virtual edition. I'm GueroLoco, aka Mr. GL. I'm an edutainer. What I'm able to do is I go to schools to speak with students about learning other languages, learning about other people, and ultimately just coming together to build bridges, not barriers. That's my main missions with what I do. Of course, focusing on bilingualism and empathy, and explaining to the students how my life has been completely changed by learning another language. So what we're going to do now is jump into the presentation. This is my first time actually making a video with Zoom. So bear with me a moment, okay, as I get these things situated, okay? Go ahead and text 225-800-1060. You can text CABE to receive a copy of this presentation. You can text virtual because we're going to be talking a little bit more about the virtual classroom presentations that we're beginning now. So you can text virtual for more information about that. And a little something else I'm going to explain in a little bit. You can text ABC for the Spanish ABC Rap Challenge. Okay, let's get things started. So I'm, like I said, GueroLoco, aka Mr. GL. I represent Bilingual Nation USA. I'm here to talk to you about the power of music, along with dual language, sociocultural awareness, and social emotional learning with hip hop and reggaeton, because those are the types of music that I used before I started doing the classroom presentations. I was all over the country as more of a commercial artist, and making music that I thought was going to be the next big hit. And I ended up working at a dual language school. To make a long story short, I ended up working at a dual language school through this teacher that had befriended me. And then from there, things just took off. I reconnected with my former high school Spanish teacher, who encouraged me to start performing for students, because when I was in high school, I didn't do very well in Spanish at all. I'm from Indiana, so please forgive me, but I was just like, why or how am I ever going to use this language? And ahora lo uso todos los días. And I'll explain a little bit more in the next couple slides about how I learned Spanish, cómo aprendí el español, and how it's been able to help me out. And ultimately, that's the message that we're bringing to your students, along with a whole bunch of different ways to be able to accomplish that huge task. So a lot of big words in this with the dual language, sociocultural awareness, social emotional learning with hip hop and reggaeton. But all very important as well. We need to ensure that the sociocultural awareness and social emotional learning are there in the classroom, and that you have tools at your disposal to be able to accomplish that as well. Integrating music with learning. The three pillars of dual language, I try to stay very close to these. Bilingualism and biliteracy, of course, is at the heart of everything that I do, everything within the presentation. High achievement and expectations is pillar number 2, also extremely important, of course. And, we all know about that testing, but aside from that, really to where our students are learning and retaining information in the long term, not just to take or pass a test. And some of the ways that I get through to the students with that is the power of practice. And my next song that's going to be coming out with Ocho, one of the producers that has produced various songs that you'll hear today, is practice, 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 because it's so important. If you want to get good at anything, you've got to practice, practice, practice. And if you want to be the best at anything, you got to practice, practice, practice. So I try to bring that message to the students as well, so that way they're able to understand how practicing can really help them out. Also, the third pillar, like I said, it's not as, a lot of people, they focus on the first two. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are able to incorporate all three of these. But from the sociocultural competency, equity, and social justice standpoint, we need those in our classrooms, especially our dual language classrooms, to be able to give our students a way to express themselves, what they're feeling, what they're going through, what their families are going through. And also for other students who may not be as familiar with some of the issues, for them to be able to learn, understand, and then to be able to gain a little bit of empathy. So that's me when I was little, baby GueroLoco right there. The second picture, if you can see my mouse right there, that's me when I was little GueroLoco with the blonde hair. So I was really blonde back then. And then the third picture here is of me in the United States Marine Corps. I joined the Marines when I was 17 years old. Absolutely best decision of my life, because remember that kid I told you about that was sitting there 6 months before, sitting there talking about, oh, why should I learn Spanish? It's never gonna, I'm never gonna be able to use it. Well, this guy right here ended up joining the Marines, and the first thing that the Marines told me that I was gonna do was to go learn Spanish. Crazy enough as it sounds, that's exactly what they told me after I took a few tests. And, they dashed my hopes of being a tank driver forever. And I was sent to Monterey, California for a 6-month crash course to learn the language. Absolute second best thing that happened to me in my life besides the Marines. And generally I say that with the Marine Corps, one, because I love the Marine Corps, I love this country. But two, on top of that, the Marines was the step that it took for me to be able to learn Spanish and get out of that, like, oh, I'm never going to use this. And just like I'm sure a lot of your students are when it comes to what you're trying to teach them. So actually giving them real world examples of how the things that they may not think are going to help them actually are going to help them. The power of music. Music is rhythm and repetition. So it's that rhythm and that repetition, which also the human mind is addicted to when it comes to learning absolutely anything. Our brains, they like it easy. So the easier that you can make it for them to learn something, the absolute best that they will do when learning that subject. Now, I'm a huge believer in using music and everything that we do, and because, especially in the classroom, especially with learning. When I was in the 5th grade, I went into the 5th grade thinking that I was dumb. Basically, I'm just going to keep it real. I'm not going to mince words. I didn't have a very high opinion of myself academically or with my self-esteem. And I walked into this 5th grade class with Mrs. Dorothy Davis, and she completely changed my life. And she did all these fun things in the classroom that wasn't just her lecturing us and telling us this and that. It was actually like real world stuff that we were learning through music, through dance, through skits, and all of these types of things. And one of the things that we learned was the 50 states in alphabetical order. And we learned it with this kind of cheesy song with the Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut. And so, being little mini rapper 5th grader me, I decided I was going to step my game up and I was going to learn these 50 states, and not only learn them, but also see how fast that I could rap them. So an example, even, 20 something years later, is Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana. So you kind of get the idea there. So learning with music has been with me for a very, very long time. It's actually been with all of us. When you think about the Happy Birthday song, and not only that, but also the ABCs. When you think about the building blocks of education, we start out with music. We start out using music with the A, B, C, D, or however you do it, because I got some different versions. But it's the fact that we started with music. We realized the importance of music for programming our brains to learn these things that are so vitally important. But why do we stop? We use it through 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but about 3rd grade, we start to phase it out a little bit. Many of y'all are masters at keeping the music and the multimedia going in your classroom to help your students learn and to make it very effective. But some of us, we need to really rethink things and begin to implement music in the classroom. Music elicits emotional responses, as we all know, and physical movement, when your head starts to bob or your leg starts to move or your fingers are tapping and you didn't even realize it was going on. Along with that, ultimately music equals memorization. And think about when you were a kid, or maybe even now as an adult, you hear that song, you may not even like the song, but then it gets stuck in your head for half the day. So that's happened to me quite often. And like I said, it just goes back to music equaling memorization. After this slide, this right here is a song that I wrote for my daughter, and it is called Do You Feel Me? We recorded it in San Antonio, Texas. It's a song that I wrote for when she was younger. And now it is, we were able to make the music video, and it's something that lives with us today. We made this music video about 5-6 years ago when I was living in San Antonio. So so check it out. I'm gonna go ahead and perform it. Hopefully the audio comes through with the video and the sound and everything else, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Daddy.
Yo.
Yo, yo.
What's good, baby dog? Hope you know your daddy loves you.
I know.
And actually, let me take it back real quick because this isn't going to be a live performance on this one. I didn't know how the sound would come out. So instead of just 2 verses that I would normally perform at a school, now you're going to get the full 3 verses. This is also on YouTube as well. Okay, it's called Do You Feel Me? GueroLoco. Here we go.
Hey, Daddy.
Yo,
Yo.
what's good, baby dog? I hope you know your daddy loves you.
I know. I love you too, Poppy.
I got something for you now.
What is it?
This is a gift. Just some advice, some words. You can take it however you need to.
Do you feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level. Do you feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level, girl. Mira, mija, escucha lo que yo digo y vas a entender la razón por la que yo vivo. Yo quiero que esto sea mucho más que yo y que tú aprendas china, árabe y española. Haz lo que quieras, pero no seas como todos, así como tu papi, todo a mi modo, sin pena. En las malas y las buenas, no importa lo que sea, siempre serás mi nena. Yo no quiero que tú sufras como yo he sufrido, yo no quiero que tú vayas para donde me he ido, pero quiero que tú aprendas lo que yo he aprendido. Quiero que veas que tú eres la razón por la que vivo. You feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level. Do you feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level. Prepárate bien y no dejes que te confunden. Hay muchos odiosos, pero ellos solo huyen. Tus tíos me respalden, son mi guardia y patrulla. Solo quiero aclarar para que no tengas una duda de lo que está pasando en este loco mundo. Hay que tener cuidado, eso te lo aseguro, y esto te lo juro. No hay un amor más puro. Lánzate para las estrellas, para pararte no hay ninguno. Yo no quiero que tú sufras como yo he sufrido. Yo no quiero que tú vayas para donde me he ido, pero quiero que tú aprendas lo que yo he aprendido. Quiero que veas que tú eres la razón por la que vivo. You feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level. Do you feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level. Y la vida que la tomes día por día, que invites a Dios para que sea tu guía, como ha sido la mía en este campo de minas, en este campo de minas que llamamos la vida. Hay reglas en este juego, hay que seguirlas bien. Si tú lo haces, tú harás solito lo que no pueden con 100. Que seas fiel, pero que te cuides bien, y que no trates a la gente como no quiere que te traten, y que no trate a la gente como no quiere que te traten. Yo, don't treat nobody how you don't want to be treated. It's simple, beba. It's simple. Do you feel me? Do you feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level. Do you feel me when I tell you I love you, and can you feel me? Can you learn from my struggles? I hope you feel me. Watch out for the trouble and don't worry about them haters, they ain't even on our level, girl. I love you, baby. Te quiero mucho. Ya tú sabes cómo lo hacemos. You gotta follow your heart. This is your life. Es la vida tuya, tuya, tuya. So shoot for the stars and don't let nobody bring you down. GueroLoco, MOG Production, Latin Industry Connection.
Yo, do you feel me? So that right there is my song, Do You Feel Me, in the music video. And sorry we couldn't do it live. I'm gonna try to do it live with the ABCs and also the verbos con reggaeton. So I'm gonna try to do it live with those and see what happens, okay? So basically, spoken word, poetry, and hip hop are all interrelated. Spoken word and poetry are kind of like the beginnings, the building blocks of hip hop, because hip hop is really poetry with a beat. And all of them, most of the time, we're taking words that rhyme, taking different types of rhyming schemes. We write about our feelings within those, especially like once we get into poetry and spoken word, and then even hip hop. I know that rap kind of gets a bad rap a little bit, but the truth of the matter is there is a lot of positive hip hop. There is a lot of socially focused hip hop as well that's out there, not just kind of some of the stuff that we're hearing on the radio. And not hating against those artists, because everybody's got to pursue their dreams and they've got to do their art how they do it. But this is how I've chosen to do mine, more in a positive educational way. Like I said, hip hop's like poetry with a beat. And all of this leads to, once you get them involved and you get them hooked, it leads to reading, and writing, or like I tell the students, read, write. So music can be used in various ways as an additional tool to literacy and writing, whether it's breaking a song down to discover its meaning, and meanwhile the students are writing the lyrics down, or maybe you give the students the lyrics and they're able to help you to talk about what they mean. You can use it for all sorts of things, metaphors, double meanings, as well, to be able to use those in your lessons. Writing about our feelings is very crucial. So if you can encourage your students and tell them, hey, you're writing your own raps when you write these poems, because eventually it will take form that way. And I've got a few different examples of that, where I started out writing about what I had on my chest, what I needed to get off my chest, and then it went from just words on a piece of paper to an actual song. And I always feel so much better. I feel so much relieved when I'm able to write about my emotions and then let them go right after that. So here's the ultimate test, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start with the ABCs, el abecedario. So what we're going to do here is we're going to practice it without the beat. Then I'll put the beat on. It was produced by Ocho Ochoa. And then after that, we'll all try it. Now, what I want you to do is, as I mentioned, with the second pillar of dual language, high academic achievement, and practice. I want you to make sure that you practice this first to see how good you get. And then by the next time you try it, it's going to get even easier. And then by the next time, it's easy. And then after that, it's just pretty much like you got it ingrained. That's how this is made. This song is made very specifically on beat with each letter. So here we go. We're going to start out with the abecedario. The great thing about the Spanish alphabet is that basically the letters sound the same almost all the time. It's not like English. Inglés está loco. When you think about the words tough, through, throughout, like there's a lot of different examples in their thought of an OU and a GH, and how many different sounds they make, even with the PH. Who in the world thought it was a good idea to put a P and an H together to get the F sound, the F sound? It's cool in Spanish. Phonetically, they just use the F. It's easy, so that makes it easier to spell. It's easier to read. And then ABCs are the foundation, like I mentioned. We don't want to start out trying to learn a language without really knowing the basics, the building blocks. And that all starts with the el alfabeto, okay? So here we go. This is el abecedario. Also listen, because we're going to put some specific value and focus on the vowels as well with the A, E, I, O, U. But here we go without the beat. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And I know I use the W. Some people use the V, W. There's the UV double. There's quite a few different ways to use it. I just use the W. But also, with that, it's like one of the least used letters in the entire Spanish alphabet as well, the W. So don't get too hung up on that. Let's run this through again. Rap it with me this time, and then I'll put the beat on. Here we go. Ready? Uno, dos, tres. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Don't leave me hanging on the Z, okay? All right, here we go. Let's get this started. ABCs, el abecedario. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, know you're home. Nobody can see you. Maybe your kids, maybe your dog, maybe your husband, maybe your wife. But go ahead and try this out. Practice, practice, practice. It's the only way that we get better. This should come much easier now if you did practice before. But I want you all to be ready for the GueroLoco Spanish ABC Rap Challenge that I'm going to explain a little bit later on in the presentation. So make sure that you're practicing so that way you can get that street cred up, okay? With the students. Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay. Hopefully the sound's coming in good. Ahora vamos a practicar las vocales and we'll take it from there. Here we go. A, E, I, O, U. 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 Here we go. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So now you see how we're able to translate language and also flip it back into the English when we need to, okay? Here we go. And hopefully that didn't sound too crazy with the setup we got right here. I'm gonna go through and review it just to make sure if it sounds halfway decent. Sounds much better on the recorded song, and then hopefully it's gonna sound much better once you and your students get a hold of it, okay? So I break it down with the verbs. We do los verbos. We use reggaeton to do this. It's super repetitive. Esta canción está con reggaeton. It's produced by Ocho Ochoa, and it's more repetitive. So that way we can facilitate memorization and also retention, especially for things like the verbs, okay? So check out how we do this. Without the beat first, I want you to practice with me, okay? And then from there, then we'll put the beat on and we can all practice together. Here we go. Yo canto, yo canto, yo canto. Tú cantas, tú cantas, tú cantas. Él canta, él canta, él canta. Ella canta, ella canta, ella canta. Usted canta, usted canta, usted canta. Ok, y nosotros cantamos, nosotras cantamos, nosotros cantamos así. Y vosotros cantáis, vosotras cantáis, vosotros cantáis así. Ellos cantan, ellas cantan, ustedes cantan. Ok, ellos cantan, ellas cantan, ustedes cantan. Ok. So now you get to see it a little bit with the repetition, which is a little bit different than how we did things with the alphabeto, okay? But still it serves the same purpose of locking down that memorization and retention. So check this out. Here we go, con la música. Here we go. Yo canto, yo canto, yo canto. Tú cantas, tú cantas, tú cantas. Él canta, él canta, él canta. Ella canta, ella canta, ella canta. Usted canta, usted canta, usted canta. Ok, y nosotros cantamos, nosotras cantamos, nosotros cantamos así. Y vosotros cantáis, vosotras cantáis, vosotros cantáis así. Ellos cantan, ellas cantan, ustedes cantan. Ok, ellos cantan, ellas cantan, ustedes cantan. Ok. So ahora puedes ver cómo lo hacemos con el reggaeton. Now you can see how we do it with the reggaeton to be able to help students to learn, like I said, using max repetition over and over and over. And the kids learn this stuff. They eat it up, and it's great. We have 15 of these verbs that are available, but also with the beats and the instrumentals, you can use just about any verb in Spanish to be able to create a song like this. The beats, the instrumentals go in very different speeds, some slower, some faster, but once you find like the right syllables, speed beat, then you'll be able to put your own words to this as well. So using music in the classroom, we want to make sure that we are encouraging expression, and encouraging our students to express themselves, that we take it upon ourselves to find culturally relevant music and socially relevant music. Many times they are distinct, but many times they also go hand in hand together. And then also we want to get them to create lyrics and encourage them to be able to create their own music and their songs, and we can create lyrics as well to get them to memorize the different subject matter. If you like poetry, if you like songwriting, then implement that passion with your passion for teaching and for helping students. And I guarantee you that many of your students, the students that are like me, that don't learn, that didn't learn like everybody else, I'm sure you've got a handful of them at least in your classroom. You're going to see a major difference in how they respond, and also in their output and what you're able to see academically with not only the effort they put, but also what they're able to achieve as well. More and more artists right now are making socially based music and culturally based music, which is great. Lyrics, you know, when we're talking about writing lyrics, that can come through poetry, songs, or even just their own stories to help them to take that weight off that they may be feeling. Like I said, whenever I write a song, whenever I write a verse or lyrics about what I'm feeling, I'm able to end up feeling much better. Another example of how music has been used for learning and teaching is Hamilton. The play Hamilton, which has an amazing album with 2 CDs, which basically breaks down what was going on, the inner workings of what happened when this country was just barely starting. And so it's very cool. Lin-Manuel Miranda has done a phenomenal job. And if you like Hamilton, especially if you're a social studies teacher, find ways to implement that, or even just use it to show students that they can learn about things by using music. They don't just have to put it on so they can listen to, you know, to music to escape. They can also listen to it to learn. And it's excellent and it showcases how music can be used for subject matter as well. So moving right along, if you want to integrate music in the classroom, here's some different ways. I kind of mentioned this the last time, but student created poetry or songs, speaking about the feelings. I can't overstate that. I can't have that on enough slides to get them writing. If some of your kids are like, I don't want to write poetry, well, just explain to them that they're actually writing a hip hop verse, and they might look at it differently. YouTube, this is a job for you to do. YouTube videos of music from different cultures within the Latino community. There's so many different sets of, I say Latino community, but there's like so many different communities that you can't say this is Latino music or even this is Mexican music, but there is regional Mexican music. There is bachata, there's merengue, there's salsa, reggaeton. And then punta, from there's also, let me think of some of the cumbia, claro, I didn't miss that one, and even within regional Mexican music, regional Mexicano, there's so many different types of music that goes along with that as well, from norteñas to corridos, duranguense. There's so many different styles of music that you can introduce to your students to help them understand other cultures through the music. And then this is something that we started doing, and we've had a lot of success with this. We've got a lot of great feedback from students, parents, principals, educators, and that's the Favorite Song Family Project. And within this, it's fairly simple. All you have to do is get your student, to sit down with whoever the adult is in their life, and the adult chooses their favorite song. And they break it out, and they let the child hear it, they let the student hear it, and then they break it down to them on why it's their favorite song. When did they first hear it? What it makes them feel, what it made them feel then, the types of memories that it brings back. And what this does is that it establishes a way for the parents and the students to connect to each other. And now we need that more than ever. Even though, a lot of us are kind of like, stuck up in the house together, it's still very important that we encourage our students and our parents to connect on very real levels. And this helps them to connect on a very, very deep level, because our favorite songs normally represent a moment of history in our lives. It represents certain things that happened. Maybe we remember a family member that we loved very dearly. And so for them to do this, and for the parents to have the opportunity to share this, and you make it an assignment, so it's like they have to do it, the kids have to do it. they're going to be able to learn from their parents. And not only that, on the flip side, after the parents done doing that, then the child, the student, I keep saying child, but the student can then tell their parent what their favorite song is, and they can explain why. And what we have when we do that is we establish some amazing connections between the students and their parents, and then also with you as well, the educator, the teacher, because the parents are going to talk about the favorite song and why to their children. Then the students do the same. This is an assignment that you create, and then you are able to connect with your students and their parents. That's the key. The students and their parents through video chat. So moving into these virtual sessions that we have to do now, you'll be able to connect with the parent. Maybe use it as an excuse to talk to them about something else that you need to speak with them about. But you for sure may be able to have that parent right there in front of you, and then the student and parent can tell you why it's their favorite song, and you can see how they interact together, and the student is able to tell you about their favorite song as well. So it just kind of gives you a chance to connect and build a deeper connection with your students, and also with their parents. The parents will definitely thank you for it. This is an assignment that all of us really need to do in order to get to know the people around us a little bit better, I guess. But especially if we have kids, then it's beneficial to be able to do that, share information, and the kids might have questions, and pretty soon, you've got the parents like telling the students, their whole family histories, and the students are enthralled to be learning about it. And that's something that's going to stay with them forever and ever and ever in their hearts. Like I said, they will thank you for it. Just once again, it's very simple. Why it's their favorite song, where they were at the time they first heard it, how it makes them feel, and if you start off with that, then you can add in what you would like to from there, to be able to fully see the parents and the students connecting. Okay, the next one, the last one, is the Spanish ABC Rap Challenge. I'm throwing it down, throwing down the gauntlet, and I'm asking for everyone to participate in the Spanish Rap Challenge. There's two ways that you could do this. One of them is by actually rapping to the song. But I want to see that one creative. That one's got to be super creative, and how we do it. Maybe it's a Zoom session with everybody rapping to it. But the other way is without the instrumental, seeing how fast, like I did with the 50 states, with the Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, like see how fast the students can rap the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, how fast they can rap the Spanish alphabet. And there will be prizes. Okay, I will blast it out if you send it to me through a variety of ways. Either you share it on your Twitter or your Facebook or Instagram, tag me, or you just send it to me directly. Send it directly to my email that I'll be showing here in the next slide and a few slides after that. Just send me the email, and I'll make sure that it gets blasted out. There will be winners and there will be prizes. So if you need the beat, just text me or send me an email, and I'll send you the beat, and then you can do it with or without the beat. Motivation in the online classroom. There's the email up there at the top. This used to say motivation in the classroom. Obviously, with COVID and with this situation, the vast majority of us are now doing online classes and online sessions, and that's okay. That's okay, because we are going to figure it out. And I think that, e-learning is going to stay with us for a very long time to come. Make sure that you're giving the students positive reinforcement right now. Right now, it's crazy times, and people are getting stir crazy. So give them as much positivity and show them as much love as you can. Tell them and show them that you care. Ask them about their day, how things are going. Talk about issues that are important to them, and then above all, keep it real. Keep it real. If they bring up certain issues, talk with them about it. Talk with them about it, and do it in a kind and empathetic way. Maybe just talking with you about things may just be a distraction from like the normal things that are going on. So keep that in mind, the power that you have. And then keeping it real. Above all, it's absolutely crucial. Just keep it real with the students and the parents as much as you can during these times, to still try to also keep everybody's spirits up as well. A lot of our students, they went through unspeakable things. They've been through unspeakable journeys that most of us could never even begin to comprehend or understand, even while being empathetic. Some things are so deep, it's impossible. Um, so a lot of your students have been through trauma. They've seen violence, they've seen death, they've seen instability. Many of them may have seen the detention centers. They don't know their place right now. They're here, but are they wanted? They've been in cages. They've been separated from their families. Mothers separated from very small children, from babies. I'm not trying to hype up the situation. I wish I could downplay it more, but I can't, because this is the reality of what's going on in this country. So be empathetic as much as you possibly can. And don't pretend that we know everything that these kids have been through, because we don't. Now, COVID-19 adds a whole other layer onto this. The coronavirus and everything that comes with it, the self-isolation, the not going to school, not being around our peers and our friends, and not being able to play in the park. These kids are coming out of these detention centers. They're coming from La Bestia, the train, tren de la muerte, the train of death. They're coming off that with war-like PTSD, like our soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen come home with. So it's very important. It's very, very important. They've experienced this from a young age. They may think that this is how the world is. So especially for your newcomers, for all your students, but especially for your newcomers, reach out, make sure they're doing good. Even if it's just a phone call, they'll be glad to hear from you. Let them know that you're thinking about them. It's very important. Right now, they may have an extreme fear of others because of what they went through, what they've seen, the people that they've had to interact with. Also feeling unwanted. Like I said, trying to find their place. But now they've got to deal with another fear, another level of trauma, fear of losing someone in their family becoming ill. We're all going through that. We can all empathize. We can all sympathize with those types of feelings. Make sure that you're mainly aware of these things. That's why I talk about this, just so you can be more aware and have more empathy for these amazing students. You are going to be the one that shows them different than what they've seen. You're going to be the ones to show them how awesome that the United States is, or your state, wherever you're from. California should be on here, but whether it's Cali or whether it's somewhere else, show them how great of a people we are. Whenever I went to another country, I say this with all my heart. Whenever I went to another country, I've been treated great, absolutely great by the people there. There's a saying that in Mexico, if you're a visitor, you'll never go hungry. I've been a visitor to Mexico over 30 times, and that's always been my experience. I've experienced nothing but extreme kindness when I went to Mexico, El Salvador, Cuba. Then I come home and I brag about it like I'm doing right now, about how well I was treated. We need to take the steps to be able to show our kids, our students, our newcomers in the world and their parents, show them how awesome of a town that we live in, how awesome of a state that we live in, how awesome of a country that we live in. And those little reverberations will have impacts that will last their entire lifetime. They will remember you forever. So remember to show them a little bit of extra love and empathy. It's all about building bridges and building empathy. We can lead by example, and this is a slide that I had up before all the virtual stuff, but leading by example by showing the students how to be kind to each other through your own level of kindness. You can put yourself in their shoes. That's a huge part of empathy. Remember that kindness is a habit. Show them it's about the little things. Let them know how much of a big help they can be by helping their parents out, if they're stuck at home right now, by doing the little things like keeping the room clean. These are the little levels of kindness, by telling their parents that they love them. These are the small things that we can be doing right now. But teaching them that kindness is a habit and getting them to do things, and maybe coming up with different ways where you can reward them virtually for what they're doing. And then also you can do your own kindness challenge collaborations. So maybe you create a list of things that they can do, and then the parents sign off and they say that they did these things. Yeah, they're being kind and they're doing nice things because you're telling them to, or because they're going to get something, a reward for it. But at the end of the day, we're teaching them the habit of kindness. So teach them the habit of kindness. And I'm going to keep things going real quick. Remember how I told you that they'll remember you forever? That's Mrs. Dorothy Davis, some 20 something years later, up there in the top picture. Mrs. Davis was amazing. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. She convinced me that somehow I was smart, and I don't know, but I've been believing her ever since. And she's awesome. Awesome, awesome people. Without Mrs. Davis in my life, I don't know where I would be at right now. Without her changing my life, that's the power that each and every one of you have. You all as educators are our first and last line of defense in everything that we're going through in this country. Hey, I'm sorry, but we need you right now. We really do. You have the ability to encourage high self-esteem, like I explained about Mrs. Davis, to build bridges like we talked about in the last slide, to be able to connect different people that otherwise wouldn't be connected. You have that power, and they will remember you forever. Even, that is, let me say, they'll remember you forever if your heart's in it. If you're doing the right thing, if you're doing what you got to do to help these kids, they're going to remember you. If you haven't heard from them yet, like it took me 20 something years to find Mrs. Davis. And when I finally tracked her down, I was like, oh my gosh, because she was on Facebook. So I was like, what happened? And so when I finally tracked her down, like my heart got so filled with love and enjoyment because I had finally found her, and I could finally tell this person who was so crucial to my life, thank you. So even if you haven't heard from students yet to tell you thank you, just know that you live in their hearts. Just know that you're making a difference. And it might be the little bad talkative kid like me that got partitioned to the back of the classroom in the 3rd grade because my brain would start moving faster than the teacher could talk. So next thing you know, I'm talking and being disruptive and all the stuff that comes with that. Y'all know. Like I was literally partitioned off. I had to learn how to learn with my ears. They will remember you. And please, I'm telling you this from my heart, our future absolutely depends on you and your service to this country and your service to these students. So some of the things that I've been in, I've been able to do before, things got shut down, were these live presentations for students. Normally I would go do presentations at school and districts. They could be anywhere from 1 hour to like half-day session with 3 different sessions there, or a full day with like 5 to 6, and I would do them by classroom. Now I'm learning this, we can do them by Zoom, and I would do auditorium level as well. Now we have the online sessions available, and we can do this in a couple of different ways. I can do it live. We can get your students involved. We can make it interactive as well. There's a few different ways that we're able to do this. And now that people are more receptive to the e-learning, I want to make sure that we're able to connect with as many students as possible. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. So send me a message and we will work it out to do an online session for your students before the end of the semester if we're able to. So anywhere from K through 12, university, the virtual sessions, parent sessions, sessions for students in alternative schools or alternative programs is very close to my heart as well. And the sessions vary. Of course, they vary between grade level and between grade level or learning level as well. So we're setting up the ways to virtually connect with the students so that way we can be interactive with it, or maybe we just record the video and you're able to play the video in your classroom. But I always prefer to make it more interactive. So here is the information right here, 225-800-1060, 225-800-1060 is the number. You can text CABE for this presentation. You can text virtual for the virtual classroom presentation information if you're interested in that. Or if you're just interested in doing the ABC Rap Challenge, you can just text ABC for more of that information and we'll send it right over to you. Make sure that you're integrating music and multimedia in your classroom, connecting with your students and their parents as well. Take this time to really be able to connect on a different level with all of your students and with your entire classroom. And if you do that, and you're able to mix in different types of music that you find and other types of multimedia, your students are going to respond and you're going to build tighter bonds with their parents. And we already know that partnership is absolutely crucial. So from I want to tell y'all much love, and then also from the heart of a Marine Corps veteran, I want to tell each and every one of you that are educators who work in the education field, absolutely 100% thank you for your service. Much love from CABE 2020, the virtual edition. I'm GueroLoco. Check me out. Peace. I'm out.